seeing the running scenes especially. But yeah, I mean, Dave is just he's a very detailed person, and he was really good about giving me kind of like a running regimen, I guess, because we met before filming started, probably a month and a half, 2 months before. And so, of course, I was like, all right, I got to get on this. So I started running, I think, the next day after I met. We were emailing back and forth about building up, not necessarily speed, but more just that endurance part. Because, you know, I mean, in these shots, they're fast. We wanted to go just about the same pace that it was, you know, talked about in the script. But it wasn't for, you know, 3 literal miles. It was more like 200 meters or something like that. So the speed wasn't as important, but with that endurance, when that built up, you know, I went from running 5 minutes nonstop, which sounds so easy, but I was like, are you kidding me? That was insanely hard. So started at 5 minutes nonstop and then built up to 30 plus minutes nonstop. Praise God. And with that, really, the speed just came.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about your background. Had you been in any other movies or TV or commercial or anything like that? And are you currently attending college right now? And is acting what you want to go into?
Okay, yeah. So I moved to Tennessee when I was just about 10, and I had done some church plays before that, but, you know, in the church plays, the main goal was to be like the shepherd because you got the most lines. There wasn't much character development or anything like that, which is fine. Totally cool. So that was never really a passion, but right before we moved down, I got a speaking role in a Christmas play at a new church that we had started going to. And something just kind of clicked, and I was like, wow, like, this is really fun, and just, like, the backstage camaraderie and, you know, just getting to perform in front of an audience, it was so fun. So we moved down here, and God just really started opening up doors. I don't even remember, like, a specific time where suddenly, you know, the light bulb went off and I wanted to become an actor. But he just really was faithful about opening and closing doors, with friends who were in like the homeschool community who now live out in LA and are pursuing acting full time. And so I started taking some classes, started doing a lot more theater, and then started doing some films as well. I did my first film when I was, I want to say 12 or 13, probably 12. It was just a very small speaking role, and that film had an absolute blast. It was like 8 days on set, loved every second of it. And then I did a couple other films and some short films, and now I'm really enjoying teaching acting as well. It's fun to kind of be in front of the camera and then jump behind it and start coaching some other actors, and just seeing those light bulb moments where they're suddenly like, oh, I understand my character and I understand how to make this real. And it's like, yes, it's so rewarding. Yeah, and so I've currently been going to a community college locally for the past 2 years, mostly just getting my gen eds out of the way. And I pretty much have all of those done. So right now, you know, it's summer, so I'm fully enjoying all of the freedom that summer gives me.
Sure.
And I've decided to take next semester off as well, just to kind of take a step of faith and see what acting teaching opportunities God's going to bring. So that's the short-term plan. After that, potentially transferring to a 4-year school.
Okay, excellent. So what else have we not discussed yet that you would like people to know about Remember the Goal? Why should they go see this when there are so many movies, so many things on the internet or whatever that's going on?
Ooh, good question. Well, it's it's such an inspiring movie, and I know that's kind of like Christianese, but it can touch so many different people because there are a few different storylines, and they're all woven together. But, you know, the 5 leads, we each have our own issues that we're dealing with, and like I said before, they are so relatable that I just think it's going to be so cool to start hearing, and I'm believing that we will start hearing stories of people who are going to see the film, and maybe they have a friend like my character who, you know, a friend has started doing drugs and they don't know how to approach that, and maybe, you know, this high schooler can watch the film and kind of do what Anna did to the glory of God, and that would just be so encouraging. And it's just so positive. You know, there's so many negative films and, you know, films that just celebrate sin, to be honest, and this film isn't like that, and it encourages, you know, people to be healthy, be athletic, but also be healthy in their spiritual life too, and there's not really anything better than that.
Amen. I couldn't have said it better.
Oh, God's words, not mine.
Amen.
Also, though, it was really cool to see God's hand at work throughout the filming process, if you don't mind me talking about that for a second.
Sure.
Too. It was really special because I've had this story of really how God worked a miracle on set, and I hadn't been able to tell many people publicly about that. And then the director and one of my co-stars and I drove down to Dalton, Georgia, ran a 5K with a company called Run for God, or an organization called Run for God, which is an awesome company. We had a blast, and we got to speak after the race before the award ceremony. And I finally got to share that story, and I really think that will encourage people to go to the film too, because they'll be like, okay, we got to see the moment where she said that this story happened during the filming process.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was my very first day of filming, which was the second day overall of filming for the film crew. And I had 3 of my characters' most important scenes scheduled to be shot. These are the scenes with the friend who's doing drugs. So all in one location, but the 3 scenes are spread throughout the script. It's like, I don't know, maybe like scene 15, 30, and 40. So pretty spread out. So I woke up, you know, super excited. I wake up and I have a sore throat that I can barely talk with, like super swollen glands. Pretty sure I had a fever. Thank God no one else got sick on set, but pretty sure I had a fever and just felt like awful. And I was like, God, like, I can't do this. I have no clue how I'd be able to talk, you know, through all 3 of these scenes, doing, you know, 5+ takes of each of these scenes. Like, I can't do this. And so I was like, God, you're going to have to come through for me. I know that you can, and frankly, you're going to have to. So I wrote down this little note on my phone or something, like explaining to people that I wasn't talking because I was sick. And of course, you know, I drive on set. First person I meet is the boom operator. So he's like, hey, who are you playing? And I was like, you know, like, couldn't talk. And he's like, oh, wow, that's great, because I'm the sound guy. I was like, well, thanks. He's a great guy. He's super funny. But I was like, that's a nice way to start off the day. So I walk in, I'm showing people the note, and I'm just like, I'm so sick. You know, we have all these extras here today. They're all trying to talk to me. They probably think I'm this horrible person who's like stuck up and won't talk to them. Like, oh my goodness. But it was like one of the best days of shooting I had. Like, it was exhausting. It was draining. But, I mean, God just totally came through. I didn't have problems speaking at all. I tried to save my voice in between takes, but it was just, I don't think anyone would ever know. But anyone who's listening to this podcast will know that, yeah, those 3 scenes where I'm with my friend Savannah, I was horribly, horribly sick.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
And that's just, I mean, one of many short stories of how God has been blessing this film. So it's just cool to see, you know, that was in the filming process, so what is he going to do in post-production, you know?
Exactly. I know Dave is furiously trying to get the film ready yet with the last-minute things and doing last-minute marketing. But
yeah,
I am glad that you were able to join us today, and I'll have this out as soon as I can. And like I said, I'll make sure David knows about it, and I'll link it to the Facebook.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's a blessing to be able to tell that story, and I hope it encourages people, and I know that it glorifies God. So that's all I can ask for.
And well, thank you so much, Quinn, and have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
That's all the time for today. You can learn more about Remember the Goal, including which theaters will play the movie, at Dave Christiano's website, 5and2pictures.com. 5and2pictures.com. 5 and 2 are spelled out. The movie also has a Facebook page, and the trailer is on YouTube. The next podcast will feature Love Displayed, a husband and wife musical duo. After that episode, I will take a short break while I attend the International Christian Retail Show in Cincinnati. I will be recording several podcast episodes there with Christian entertainers. Followersofthecross.com will feature live updates from the show as well as the next podcast episodes. Thank you for listening.